in terms of feeling like strong going forward. And, yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely feeling strong. We are. We just locked up the playoff spot, so we're really excited about that, and we're just working on little things each week as the playoffs. We prepare for the playoffs.
Beautiful. And in terms of what do you think will be the biggest challenge of the weekend?
The biggest challenge is just we'll go down Valley, and they're still fighting for the playoffs, so they'll play really hard, and they'll be out to get us. So we just got to be ready for them.
Has there been any, I suppose, key focuses at training to, knowing that you're taking them on this weekend? Any particular focuses you'll be bringing into the game?
We really haven't been worried about them. We haven't looked at them yet. We'll probably look at them tonight. We've just been focused about us and things that we need to improve on. That's it.
So you said you'll be checking them out tonight, but do you know much about them at this stage?
I've watched the last two games. They play hard. They've been winning the last few games, so they're in form. So we have to be ready for that.
And one of their players, I believe his name is Joel Spears. He's been quite an outstanding player for them at the moment, doing quite well in the stats as well. Do you think there'll be much done to shut him down?
Yeah, we're going to look to key in on whoever their main guys are. I don't really know who he is, but if he's one of their main players, we'll definitely key in on him and just see how to slow him down.
Do you know how they like to play? They're a big team, small team, like run, shoot,
Yeah, I watched the last two games. They're like a big team. They shoot a lot of threes. They got guys that just work hard, no balls, and just they play hard overall as a team.
Yeah, I know. Last week you guys had a pretty physical encounter with with Aubrey. Obviously, they were coming out pretty spirited. Did you guys enjoy that kind of sort of physicality in the heat in that game?
Yeah, we'll definitely enjoy that. Just playing Aubrey, we knew that we wanted to get the best game since what happened the game before we played them. So we knew they were going to come out playing hard and yeah.
And you're expecting more of those kinds of games as the season starts to narrow down to finals, like that more sort of desperation, those heated kind of games?
Yeah, because every team now that hasn't solidified a playoff spot is their life's on the line, so they're going to give it their all, and they're going to, especially us, teams playing us, everyone tries to play the best against us because we're at the top, so they try to knock down the top team, so it's always a motivation for teams when they play us.
And do you guys relish that challenge? Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, because we don't want people being scared of us. We always want a good game. It helps us get better, so yeah.
Awesome. On that note, how are you guys feeling going into the weekend, and how's the team looking?
Going into this weekend, we're just a little bit more sharp, a little bit more focused. We dropped 2 the past weekend, so we just sort of regrouping this week and coming around each other and sort of just trying to give each other a little bit more of a boost so that we're more focused going into this weekend.
And do you think that has been the issue, perhaps just that lack of focus, as you're saying?
I guess you could say lack of focus is part of it, but we've been struggling on the rebounding glass, so just us sort of focusing on rebounding and boxing out our people and sort of going after the rebound and just having that mental toughness, not just sort of like just a focus, but that mental toughness aspect as well as with the physicality that we bring to the game.
And what have you guys been doing well this week at training?
This week, just sort of talking and just sort of being a little bit more aggressive. We're trying to focus on communicating a little bit more. It's getting towards the end of the season, and just a few things that we haven't figured out yet. Just sort of trying to tie up those loose ends right now.
And what do you think will be the biggest challenges presented by the opposition?
Opposition, Diamond Valley, they're a really good shooting team. Looked at some film, and everyone likes to shoot. They have a big girl in the middle. She likes to bring the ball up the floor and push it if she gets a rebound. So we'll be looking to sort of to focus on just locking down players and getting to our men effectively.
And do you have any personal goals sort of you're thinking about this weekend as well?
Personal goals, just to get the W. We're trying to take it one game at a time. We're still trying to fight for our playoff spot. The guys have already solidified their spot, so we're just trying to be able to get in the playoffs with them.
Last week we were talking to Olivia and Laura about how important it was to finish all 4 quarters of the game well. This week, Diamond Valley, they are down at the bottom of the ladder as well. Are you confident that you guys will be able to come out strong and finish strong this week?
Well, that's the goal, for us to be able to come out strong and finish strong. We have struggled to play 4 quarters wholly and sort of finish out games, but at the same time, we're still learning, regardless of where we're at in the season, wherever people are at in the ladder. this league is so good that it doesn't even matter where you're at the ladder. So everyone's going to compete. Every team is competitive, and they're all good. So we're not going into any game sort of thinking like, oh, like we got it type of thing. So it's always just to work hard and to stay focused.
And one of their players, Annalene Bailey, she's at the moment she's heading statistics for rebounds per game. You mentioned the need to box them in. Can you tell us a little bit more about what might be done to shut her down?
All we can do is just box out and rebound. Box out and get after it. Just sort of realize that it's not just our bigs that have to rebound in the game. Our guards have to rebound, and we're just gonna say everyone put a body on someone. If you don't get a body on someone, we're just gonna get on each other about it and just stay on each other the entire game.
Just in terms of playoff hopes, I know losing 2 last week it makes it a lot tougher. Do you guys still sort of have plenty to play for the remaining sort of 5 games?
Yeah, like I said, we're focusing on one game at a time. We have a few games left in the season, but these games mean everything to us, and just the fact that we have a chance to sort of get into the playoffs, and other teams are fighting to get in the playoffs and stay in the playoffs. There's a lot of teams tied right now, so just trying to break those tiebreakers and sort of claw our way in is what we're focusing on.
Yeah, beautiful. So is it still a possibility, like mathematically?
I believe it is, looking at the ladder from my point of view, but
Okay, that's good.
Both teams this week are coming off a 3-game winning streak. Could the Eagles' momentum be a potential threat?
Oh, absolutely. They've won 6 of their last 8, and they went 0-4 start, and they're 1 game out of the top 8. So right now we're going to get teams that are fairly going to come after us because they're trying to make the top 8, and obviously we're at the top of the ladder, so we're a scalp, so to speak, if they knock us off. And so we've had that the last weekend. Bendigo and Albury also fighting for a playoff spot, and we got their best, and I think there's nothing better than that for us to actually get people's best. It's going to help us improve and prepare us for the finals.
And what's the minors' goal now that the playoffs have been achieved?
Yeah, like we're in the playoffs, but the goal now, we've got with 5 games left, I've worked it out. If we win 2, we're definitely in the top 4 out of the last 5 home games. If we win 3, we'll probably finish on top of the ladder or second. So, that's a goal. In saying that, that's big picture stuff still. We'll focus on trying to get that W against Diamond Valley, which are pretty good, playing well right now, as you mentioned.
Sure. And finally, just on the rush, obviously facing the bottom of the ladder side, you mentioned last time we spoke there's no team they can't beat at this stage. But what are your thoughts on their matchup with Diamond Valley?
Yeah, look, it's definitely a team that they can knock off. Obviously, they have to play well. We've got to get back to the level that we got in regard to winning those 5 games. There's 5 games remaining. So looking at it, all these teams that they play are around the mark, either level with them or below them. So that tells you that's a possibility to win the last 5. And you never know what can happen. Mathematically, they can still make the playoffs. And the Albury-Wodonga one was an important one. I was hoping the girls would get that because if they had won by more than 5 as well, I would have had a margin. So, but in saying that, they didn't get it. So you just got to move on and prepare for the next game. And this is a game that they know they can to get it done, but they have to manage the expectations and focus on the process of what they've got to do to win.
Do you think, it's obviously a critical time, do you think that sense of urgency is going to drive them forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, there's huge improvement with the Rush team. They won 5 games last year, and this, they've got 5 wins on the board now, and they're still in playoff contention. So, they're hungry to improve, but also hungry that with a slight chance, well, the door's still open to make the playoffs. You've got to try and go through the door and make it happen. So, and the first one this week will be Diamond Valley. So, I'm sure they're really going to be up for the game.
Look, you mentioned last week that you're at the point now, the Annie's been up, you're getting every team's best. Are you happy with how the boys are responding to that?
Yeah, I really loved last weekend. It was 2 different types of games. The Bendigo was a grind and it's extremely physical, and we had to travel there on the bus and travel back. We didn't get home to 12:30 at night, and then front up for a 2 o'clock home game. And then it was a whole different type of ball game where Albury-Wodonga wanted to run up and down and shoot the basketball. So what that displayed to me, we can win in different ways. So we were able to stay with them, run with them, and the game was close, and we took the game over probably with 8 minutes to go in the last quarter. And in regard to beating Albury, but the Bendigo, they're the kind of games you love to be involved in. It comes down the last couple of minutes and who executes and who plays the good defence, but extremely physical game, so it was great preparation for us. So yeah, you know, when you come out with a win, of course you're going to be happy. If you're losing, you look at all the things that went wrong. There's still areas we can improve, and that's what we're focused on this week. Each game brings out something that you need to improve, and we stay with that and focus on the process and focus on now trying to beat a team that's full of confidence and playing really well, Diamond Valley.
Yeah, and I asked Dan this question as well, but what sort of, how do they match up with you guys? Are they sort of, they like to run it like to get up, or are they a big team, or sort of what's
They are big. You know, Benny Allen's their standard. He actually played with my son for a few years, and he's a really smart, high IQ player, big guy that can shoot the three. Very good shooter of the basketball, really smart, great passer of the basketball, so that's underrated sometimes in the game. And you know, they've got a couple of imports, Hovey and the guard who they brought in late, who's been putting up some numbers. I've seen him play. He played at Sandringham, so I know what we're going to deal with. And Spear from South Australian that recruited. So they've got 4 or 5 really good players. So, you know, like most teams, they can put points on the board. You know, we've got to work out how we're going to reduce their scoring efficiency, or not just their efficiency, but scoring. But it's, at the same time, we've got to stop us. We're really starting to hit our straps offensively in regard to sharing the basketball and, you know, 5, 6 guys averaging double figures in a game. That makes it, you know, I'm sure they're looking at us and going, who do we focus on? And so we've created a situation where I want us to be, you know, I want us to be tough to scout. I want us to have the team look at, well, if we focus on 2, somebody else is likely to step up. So we're a tough guard at the moment as well.
And just lastly, playoffs are in check now, top 4's the next goal. What does that give you come playoffs time? Is that basically at least one home final?
Yeah, Final 4 will give you 1 home final. If we can finish in the top 2, we're guaranteed 2 home finals. So that would be sensational if we can get there and do that. And you know, you'd much rather play games at home than away. And, you know, we've got the best away record in the league, but I'd certainly want us to be playing finals. You know, it's an opportunity for the community to get behind you and expose basketball. You know, the numbers come. You know, if you make the playoffs, we're going to have bigger crowds. So we're exposing the game to a greater number of people, and pretty important for us doing that leading into next year as well, with a new facility, to get people up and about, really motivated about the team and about basketball in the region.